Welcome to Sanford Goes Places. So, you remember when you were a kid and, you got a new bicycle and you're all proud and everything. Your parents, they worked hard to get it. And, and you get the bike and within 5 minutes you take the chain guard off, you move the handlebars, change the seat, take the kickstand off, all the reflectors, all that. And you take that bicycle that was beautiful and perfectly good and turn it into a pile of crap. Well, that's what we are doing today to this Jeep JK. So this thing is getting gutted and it is being turned into a pile of crap. And this will be the first install on a whole bunch of other videos coming up on how you can turn your Jeep into a piece of crap also. So welcome to Project Blueberry. And so as you know, I've been battling back and forth between Sanford, this Jeep, a few things. So my last announcement was gutting Sanford. So I sat and I watched a bunch of the videos and YouTube stuff that I've done with that Jeep, and it has been all over and done way more than I remember it doing. But I think I'm going to leave it on the back burner, and I'm just going to take a break from it. Although I haven't really done much this year with it. Like, I got a lot of hot rod stuff and everything I do. But I kind of think, like, I want to set this up a little more for camping and adventure and everything. And I know you're probably sick of it. I've been back and forth on leaf springs, links and everything, but I want this JK to travel, ride nice, everything. So I think I am going to go ahead and just link it. I think in the end it'll be worth it. To me, I'm lazy, so a lot of it's easier just with leaf springs. There's no geometry, no nothing to figure out, but this isn't that big a deal. And yes, they do make a lot of kits and different things, but in my retarded way of doing things, I've got ideas I want to do. So this is going to be purposely built for what I want to do, but I want it to be comfortable but extremely capable. I am going to stretch it considerably. There's just a few things, and I want everything tucked up nice and neat. A lot of the aftermarket suspensions and stuff, things don't quite tuck in. They're just meant to like bolt in and put into existing areas, and some do make very good kits that are nice, but I don't have the bankroll for it. So like I always have to do, everything I do is usually homemade and just kind of cobbled together. So anyway, yeah, let's take a look at this thing. So as I said before, this Jeep was kind of built already. It had Pro Rock 60s in it, and it's been around a bit. It's got a nice chromoly cage. It's got a lot of nice features in it, but it all got gutted out, and as far as I know, all the running gear and all that stuff got put into a Gladiator pickup. So they were in the middle of swapping an LS into this thing. It has right now a brand new 4L60 hooked to a Rubicon transfer case, so that's good. Everything in this is all rebuilt, good to go. It's already got mounts for the LS and stuff in it, so that's no big deal. All this wiring and all this garbage is going to disappear. I'm going to change probably out the brake system. This doesn't need to be here. I'm going back to basics on this thing. It is going to be a CJ and a JK shell. So anyway, and to fit the 42s and keep it kind of where I want to, a lot of this has to be cut up. So I'm cutting it off. I'm going to do my own kind of fenders. And I got a little special treatment I want to do to a grill. I'm going to see if it'll work out or not, but I hope it does. But yeah, so it's got already a very nice long arm kit that's super beefy, but it keeps the front end in the stock location, which I would like to move it forward again with 42s. And this has already been trimmed. It did have 40s on it, but they rub the fenders up here by the headlights and everything. So I want all that to, once I kick that forward, this area is going to get even worse. The back, that won't have a problem. This whole area is going to be bad. So plus with the stretch, track bars, steering box, all that stuff's going to have to come forward. At least I'm going to go at least a 3-inch stretch on the front. So, and with that, it's like I'd like to do a triangulated 4-link. So before I can get into all that, I need to get the LS sitting in it and stuff, so I know just how much room And I'm not going to rip this stuff out until I know. Worst case, maybe I extend this stuff, or I'm not real sure. Front end's a bit of a mystery to me right now. Like I say, this was going to be on leaf springs and everything, but now I'm kind of thinking I want a little more comfort. I want it to ride, because I plan on being in this for days on end on hopefully some longer trips. So this whole front mess is going to be its own can of worms. So anyway, moving on to the back. I got a bunch of brackets and just different junk here. There's a front axle truss. These are some random brackets I got. Maybe they'll work, maybe not. I'm not sure, but just to start getting things figured out, I'm gonna get those and hopefully put them together and make something happen. I'm probably gonna get rid of these rock sliders and boat side it, because I love how that worked with Sanford. And like I say, I'm not afraid to cut it up and do body mods on it like I want. So, and I want it to go on a weight loss program. So these things are heavy. Moving to the back. Again, it had a really nice, I think they're in here, rear suspension system in it. Pretty nice beefy links and everything. But I am getting rid of those, and I am going to do a triangulated 4-link, and I got to cut all these brackets off, move the bump stops. I am going to stretch the back about 4 inches to get 42s again. I don't want to have to deal with all this. This is getting cut anyway, because to me, on these Jeeps, when the fender goes here and you still got body sticking out there, it looks wrong. It doesn't look right. So that's getting cut off, recapped. So yeah, I'm gonna butcher this thing up pretty bad. So it's just kind of what I do. And like I say, it might be a pile of junk. It might turn out. I'm not real sure yet, but we're gonna find out. But yeah, so I got to get all this stuff out of the way to make room for that. I'm heavily considering running some ORI struts, so I don't got to deal with bump stops and all the other sway bars and all that stuff. And I would like to, like I say, I don't mind putting a little effort into this build, because I want it to be around for a while, and I plan on putting a pile of miles on it. So they're nice. They're super easy to install, very compact. They do everything well, so that's kind of on my list. I've got this 14 bolt with a Barnes truss. I'm going to mount my upper links on that and get this thing shoved in there. And 14 bolt can't go wrong. It's got a spool and 5/38. Eventually, I'll probably put like an ARB or something in there, just for if I do more highway type stuff. I'd like it to be able to be selectable. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I got going on. So to start this project, I'm going to get all this stuff cut off and everything, slide this rear end under here, kind of get it jacked up into place, maybe slap some tires on. I don't know, just kind of get it to where it is what it is, and just see how everything clears. I do know when I put my upper link bracket on here, the ears of it stick up quite a ways, and right where it's going to be, there's a cross member here, so I'm going to have to move that cross member. I do have a Genrite tank that hopefully my stretch maybe will fit. If not, maybe I'll sell that and buy one ORI strut. I don't know. But anyway, it's like I got a crazy plan and a lot of ideas, and I don't know, as I am scatterbrained, maybe it'll all change once I start cutting everything off. But that's my plan for right now. So I have a grinder out, and I got to put a cutoff wheel. I ain't going to cut much with a wire wheel. So I'll get my grinder. I'm going to start cutting all these tabs and everything off, probably torch some of it, get all this junk out of the way, and start placing stuff in and seeing what we got. So time to move on with this project. So as with doing some of these projects, the mental block you get, this is actually a pretty nice rig, and I've thought a lot about just finding some Rubicon axles or something, dump it in there, you know, just leave it nice. And I haven't been able to pull the trigger on cutting it up and doing anything just yet. So at this point now, it's just been sitting, and something needs to happen to it. And I've had rigs. I had a very nice LJ that my whole intent with that was 1 tons and everything. It was too nice. I couldn't get myself to do it and cut it up, and I wheeled it a few times, and I sold it, and I was unhappy. I've wanted that thing back since I did that, but I can't do that again with this. So I'm going to make this what I want. A lot of people might frown on how much I cut this up and what I end up doing, but maybe I'll end up opening some eyes or something with this too. Or people just think I'm a backyard hack, which I am. So anyway, that's just kind of it though. A lot of this stuff is just a mental block. And once you just bare bones simplify it, things happen. So that's what we're doing right now. So 42s are a good sized tire, and I know guys are doing it. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're not doing much stretch, but they are doing a lot of cutting. But as you can see, this little corner up here, once I trim and cut that, that'll give a nice open area there, and naturally it's got to be up a little higher. But I also want my tires to be, this is all going to get, this bumper and everything's going to go away. It'll be flush, if anything, maybe stick out just ½ inch or so, just to kind of protect the body. But I want these tires pretty much to the very back of the tub, if not just past it. So this is all going to get modified. I don't want to comp cut, but I'm going to definitely open these up and do some work there. So, but yeah, that's just kind of roughly where my wheelbase is going to be for what I'm doing. Nothing says commitment like commitment. So we are missing the lower link mounts, and there is a right and a left one. And those came off super easy. I just took my cutoff wheel. I just cut just below the weld there. I'll just have to grind that weld off real quick, and that'll be nice and clean. So I haven't figured out this one. I might torch it, plasma. I'm not real sure yet. But yeah, we're moving on to that one. I forgot how good it feels to lay underneath something and shower yourselves in sparks. So I don't know. But check this out. All right, so I got this bump stop mount cut off. Both these hangers are now gone. The other side is kind of the same thing. So hangers are gone and everything. But now I got to get this bump stop off and the track bar. And these rails are a clean slate. So I got everything else pretty well ground up and kind of prepped out. So yeah. So this has been going along pretty good. And sometimes it's just best to wait until you're ready. I don't know. This thing's been sitting around. I've been meaning to get to it. But today, we're just kind of flying through. And I think once you finally can decide how you want to do something, it makes things flow a lot easier. So basically, I just got to get these cut off. And we're ready to maybe slide this big boy under there and kind of see where things are sitting. So let's get these things out of here. Alrighty, well, all the bump stops and the track bar bracket are gone, and I have a clean slate to start figuring out where this stuff's going to go. So yeah, I think next step, I have to sweep all this grinder dust off the floor, and then I'm going to roll this 14 bolt under there and kind of get an idea where I want to put it. There's one way to shed a little bit of weight off a JK. For more tips like these, subscribe to my channel. So I don't really have any particular wheelbase in mind on this. I just want to know I got plenty of room for these tires to fit and the way I want it to look. So I'm going to roll another tire back up here and try and kind of figure out a rough axle center line. So it's going to be probably somewhere right in here. But yeah, just kind of get an idea, make a few reference marks and measurement areas that I can keep referring to, so I know where I want everything and everything's kind of half centered. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and roll the 42s back up to it and kind of get an idea, make a few marks, and then we can put this big boy under there. So again, this is kind of where I want this just past the tailgate of this thing. And yeah, this is all, the bumper area is going to get nipped off. But yeah, and then, so in here, I'm going to end up probably repainting this by the time I'm done chopping everything all up. So I'm going to modify all this, and I kind of want to profile this tire better. And I might do like a little filler gap, change maybe this whole fender opening altogether. But I'm going to do something different in here to give it more of a flow, better aesthetics, and more clearance. I can trim a bunch of this lip out. I've been thinking about also rebuilding the inner fenders also, and making those a little bit more user-friendly for what I'm doing. But this right here, I would say, let me step back a little bit. That is pretty much where I want this tire to be. So now I'm just gonna, and again, this is all just kind of rough, but I might plumb bob or do something just to kind of get an idea on the frame. where the center of the tire's at, so I can start making some reference marks. So I guess that is my next step. Well, there is my mark, and I threw one of these. These are just one of the upper control arms because I still have a holder of reference. But when I swing that up, and I'm assuming that was on basically the top, probably close to the axle center line or so. But you can see the stretch I'm putting in this thing, and it's about 5 inches, maybe 5.5, somewhere in there. Again, I really didn't reference anything. I didn't have any axles in this, no center line on those, you know, but I'm going with what I like, how it looks, and this is what we're gonna do. So now, at least with this mark, I can transfer it to the other side, and I can use like this hole as a reference. I can use whatever, this square, but I can get it to where both sides are pretty much, that's axle center line, and then I just got to mark the center on my axle and get everything to line up and put some brackets on. So I don't know if this will be tacked in on this video. I still got a lot I got to tack. I want to kind of try and get this truss on this 14 bolt maybe a little bit lower profile if I can. I got a few little things I'm going to dabble with, but I'm at least going to get this thing under here and just kind of see how it fits. So here we go. Alrighty, now that everything in this thing is cut out and ground, I drug out this 14 bolt and I was going to slide it under there. But before I weld this truss on, it's got to have some other welding and different stuff done before I can just tack it on and start fitting things up. And another thing I need to do is I need to kind of get this at the height that I want it to be at. And again, it's all going to be kind of, you know, I'm eyeballing this. So I want to put my tires under here, and I'd like to get about 5 inches of up travel. And granted, I can still trim inside this fender well. I can bring it up higher. I say I'm probably going to rebuild the inner fenders and stuff on this. All this is going to get changed, and these will end up getting cut out. So I kind of want to get it roughly in that ballpark of getting it to the height. And then I think what I'm going to do is just weld basically some stilts on here, because I know my jack stands aren't going to go high enough, and I don't want those on blocks or anything. I want this kind of situated, you know, solid, so I can work on it and not worry about it crushing me. So yeah, I'm going to dig out some scrap, weld a couple stilts on here, get it to height, kind of eyeball it. I'll do the same on the front, get it raised up, and then I can roll up the tires and just kind of see where everything's at. And then when I set this axle in, I can kind of get whatever my pinion angle is going to be up to the transfer case, and just have a little bit more of an accurate deal. So I think that is what I'm going to do real quick. I think that is pretty close to where I want this. And like I say, all the blue you can see around here, that can all get trimmed up. So yeah, it's long for the low belly, but again, it's kind of what I'm going after. The whole bottom will be flat. And yeah, I don't know, it may end up needing a little more height, but it's easy when you're doing coilovers, ORIs, whatever, to change height on these. So I'm pretty happy about where this is at. I'm going to get the front end leveled up and just kind of see what we got. Well, we got some peg legs done. So this is just some scrap I had. This is some hot weld electric roll tubing or whatever. That's a piece of DOM that was actually part of Sanford's old roll cage. And just some angle iron and stuff, but I got her gusseted up. It's pretty stable. I threw a level on it. I don't know, this is pretty scratchy, but yeah, we're level. As you can see, my floor has a seam. This side's a little higher than this side. So yeah, I want to make sure that's level. But yeah, we're close enough for this. So now I'm just going to do pretty much the exact same thing up on the front and get it leveled out. And then we'll kind of see what we end up with, like a belly height. And I'll roll a tire up to the front and just kind of see what that looks like. But so far I'm pretty happy. So let's move up there. I got my cherry picker up there, my welder. I got to dig out some more scrap tubing, and yeah, we'll get her done. Alrighty, well, I got the front up on some stands also, and in my haste, I did something pretty stupid. So when I welded these, my cherry picker just fit right through, and it actually tapers, and it's kind of stuck in here. So I got to lift it up and slide it out. And this thing, it's a beast, and it is not light, but yeah, I'm glad I added some support and everything, because this is going to get interesting. So I'm going to get this out of here, and then I'm going to roll up some tires and just see what we got. Well, I'm liking how this is looking. I'm not real sure on this stretch. Again, I didn't have axles in here. I don't have any references to where things were, but the center line is just about in line, maybe just a tiny bit ahead of the center line of the track bar, which is ahead of the axle. So this also is probably a 5-inch stretch or so. And I think JKs are 115, 116 wheelbase. And I laid out a tape measure. Again, rough idea. I am right around to center line. I'm 125, 126. So that would make just about right, about a 5-inch stretch, front and rear. But I like the proportions of it. I wish I didn't have so much junk in here and could get a better overall. But I just think it just fits the rig a little better. Usually with 42s, they get so crowded in here and everybody's got to cut and beat and everything. And I'm still going to change this, but I just like having that extra room and everything. So I think this is where it's at. I have not yet done a belly height. Let's see what the belly height is on this. So I just measured, and it's roughly about a 22-inch belly height, which for this long is awfully low. But again, I don't really want to use this as hardcore rock crawling and stuff. And with with the suspension that I'm going to do, it's going to be easy to raise this up or fine tune it as I go. But I don't think I'll have any goofy driveline angles. Like I say, this thing's going to go down the highway. I want it pretty versatile, so it may suck at some things and may excel at others. But again, this isn't going to be the hardcore, just beater. But if I do get into some nasty stuff, it should be plenty capable to get through it. So I don't know what like a lifted JK on 37s or anything like that, what their belly height would be. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So hopefully the drive lines are tucked up nice. But I think this is a go. Again, the front end, I haven't figured out what I'm quite doing with that, but that's going to come after I get a motor and everything and just see how much clearance I have. But for now, I think we can start getting some brackets and everything set up in here, figuring out my links and everything, get this truss welded on the housing and stuff. But that's probably going to be another episode because it's getting late and I got to work tomorrow. So anyway, I'm definitely happy I came out and did some progress, and we got this far anyway. Well, it's about time something happened with this thing, and I'm digging it. I'm actually feeling this, and I'm wanting to do this build now, which is weird. This thing's been sitting here probably close to 2 years, and I haven't touched it. But now, I don't know. It just seems to be going with the flow, and I can see this going fairly quick. It isn't going to go quick because I got a whole list of things I'm going to do on this thing, and I got some experiments I want to try on it, just a bunch of stuff. So this is kind of going to be kind of a fun build, maybe a lengthy, there's going to be a lot of videos on this. But this is how you turn a nice Jeep into a crappy one. So welcome to Project Blueberry.